Time to hang out with my sister girl. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Sister Girl on Films, and we are back with House of Villains, episode 4, Dance with the Devil. Now, Entertainment Company, listen. I know y'all kind of felt like we got these popular villains. They have a cult following. They have history. We know them. They give great TV. So we just gonna let them go at it and let the cameras do what they do. I get it. But it's kind of getting a little boring, okay? I know y'all probably are counting on them to have an explosive, like, viral moment. But so far, they're not. And maybe a script should have been given to these people because, yikes. So if y'all remember at the end of episode 3, we had our 3 villains up for elimination, which were New York, Anfisa, and Bobby Lights. And so everybody was shocked that Bobby Lights went up for elimination because as far as everybody knew, him and Johnny Bananas were cool. And to his knowledge, she really didn't do nothing wrong to get put up for elimination. So Bobby Lights leaves the stronghold before production even tells him to leave. And he's mad and he's angry cooking.
That's how mother playing in this house?
And he's like, Johnny Bananas is so fake. He act like he's so cool with me. But all of a sudden, he gonna put me up for elimination. Like, if he had an issue with me, he should have spoke on it. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, are you cooking for the whole house? Because I don't want no angry food.
No, thank you.
Okay, I don't want no angry food. I don't want nobody mad cooking for me. Because I just kind of feel like that energy is gonna get in my lasagna. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat a bagel and go to bed. But Bobby, although the food looked good when it was done, but I wouldn't have trusted it. Your energy was too bad, baby. I'm not eating that. And so New York talks about how she is disappointed that she got put up. Girl, please. But she was surprised that Anfisa was put up. And so Anfisa is just basically saying she feels like Johnny Bananas put her up because he's been, you know, trying to holla at her and she's been rejecting his advances.
Because I rejected him. Since then. Oh, okay. Now he gonna put you up?
I don't know if that's what I've been noticing. I mean, he was like all about her, like maybe like the first day they were in the house, but maybe there were a lot of things that happened that we didn't get to see as an audience, but it wasn't given that he was thirsty. It's just that he thought you were looking good. I mean, because your body is banging, and that was about it. But she feels like it's retaliation because she ignored his advances. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what she feels. So Johnny Bananas talks about how he feels kind of bad that Corinne was so upset over the last couple of days because he, in fact, was the one that wrote the note.
I devised this evil plot to pre-write notes in a girl's handwriting, and it worked to absolute perfection.
No, I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all last week that this was exactly what Johnny Bananas was doing? Let me tell y'all something. I could not be on one of these little reality shows because you're not about to play with me. I know the ins and outs. I've been watching this shit since Road Rules, okay, back in the early 2000s. And the oldest trick in the book, honey. So I knew he wrote that note. And see, and remember I told y'all, he probably wrote that note to see how people would react. And then he saw how quick Bobby Lights lied. And that meant he couldn't trust Bobby Lights. And so he kind of gives Corinne a half-assed apology because he ain't even looking at her. He's like,
I hate that, like, you had to be the one to be, like, the, you know, harbinger of the message, but...
But, you know, it's just part of the game. You know, I hope there's no hard feelings, you know. I just... Look at her in her face. Who is over there? Corinne is right here, gazing in your eyes, because she's just so enamored by you. I don't know why. You, what did New York call him? Saber-tooth hammerhead? New York is a mess. You saber-tooth hammerhead. She is right here. So look at her, not over there. So everybody's in the kitchen eating Bobby Lights' angry lasagna, and New York comes downstairs, and Omarosa's like, oh my God, New York, you're gonna eat? She just straight ignores Omarosa and tells Johnny Bananas that I'm not gonna leave this house. You're gonna leave before me. I don't care what you say. I don't care that I'm up for elimination. Like, you are not gonna get me out of this house. And then she called him an amphibian reptile motherfucker.
leaving this house before I do, even though I'm down in the bottom 3 and on the hit list. Okay, you amphibian reptile mother.
I said because snake was just too much. You just couldn't call him a snake, because that's what I'm like. Is you just basically calling him a snake, basically? And so Johnny Bananas is laughing, and he tries to say something smart, and she said,
"Don't raise your penis at me."
Bitch, what? What are you talking about? Don't raise your penis at me. Y'all, I tried for the life of me to figure out what specifically that meant. I was like, what is that like? What could that be a metaphor for? Like, is she calling his nose a penis? And like, cause he looked up at her, like, is she trying to say like, don't get hard with me? Like that could have been it. I don't know what New York said or what she meant. But Johnny Bananas, all he do was laugh. And he was like, well, at the end of the day, one of us is up for elimination and the other one has all the power. So I don't know what we're even arguing about. And I was like, he ain't wrong. Like, I don't know why New York is making these choices to cut up and act the fool like this. But at this point, it's rubbing all the other villains the wrong way. And I think they're all just kind of getting sick of her shit and her just kind of being a drama queen for no reason. I'm like, maybe it's because she hasn't been on reality TV in a long time. Oh, actually, she was on Big Brother. Wasn't she? Like Celebrity Big Brother or something? Yeah. So she gets paid to act like this. So I guess, child. Bobby Lights, New York, and Anfisa are called into the production room and they find out what the next redemption challenge is. So the next redemption challenge is called Hidden Agenda. And so they all have like a list of tasks that they have to try to convince the other villains in the house to do for them without directly saying, hey, I need you to do this for me. So they're all kind of excited about it, trying to figure out how to go about it, who they're going to try. So New York immediately decides that Johnny Fairplay would be the villain that she would talk to. And I'm like, of all the villains, why would that be the one that you cling to? Like, I don't remember them saying, and y'all let me know in the comments if I missed it, but I don't remember them saying specifically like, New York, you have to talk to Johnny Fairplay, and Bobby Lights, you have to talk to Shake. And you know what I'm saying? I felt like it was just whoever, but New York did well for a little bit, and they all were doing pretty good. All the other villains, you know, were kind of just going along to get along because they didn't really think none of it. But then Johnny Fairplay was like, okay, something don't seem right.
Redemption right now. Okay. So they have to spill a drink on you, get a massage from you, so whoever gets the most is safe. So it's happening. They're the only ones that we're told. Yep. And
so Johnny Fairplay is like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna sabotage. And so New York asked him to jump into the pool, I guess with all his clothes on. He's like, this is a pool party, Johnny Fairplay. We should be swimming, it should be a pool party. And Johnny Fairplay was like, nah, I'm good. And so New York like throws a hissy fit, goes inside, well, fine, it's not a pool party. I'm like, girl, you don't have no more charisma than that. Like, I don't know if what it told her that she couldn't good do, but why didn't you just jump in the pool? Be like, y'all, let's all jump in the pool with our clothes on. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Like, trick them that way. Something else. But she definitely just blew it all out of proportion. So eventually the redemption challenge is over, and our infamous villain, you know, that comes each week to talk to the players shows up, and it is none other than Abby Lee Miller. Now, I never watched Dance Moms, but I know she was notorious for like being a bitch and being rude. Abby Lee Miller is like the OG Karen of the world, okay? So Abby Lee Miller announces that the winner of the redemption challenge was dun, dun, dun,
Bobby Light.
Woo! There she is! You're safe. There she is! You're safe.
Bobby Lights needs to slow it down, okay? Because he done won this redemption challenge by himself. Now, y'all remember, he helped Corinne in the previous redemption challenge. Now, she didn't win, but she didn't come in like dead last place. Like, it wasn't too bad. Like, they could have possibly had won. So he might be more of a competitor than what he wants to show to the other villains. But nonetheless, he is safe from elimination this week. So it leaves New York and Anfisa up to go home. Omarosa pulls Anfisa and Tanisha to the side, and she's basically trying to convince Tanisha to vote for New York because, you know, Anfisa is Omarosa's roommate, and Omarosa kind of low-key don't even like New York like that. And so Tanisha is just like, I don't know who I'm voting for. I don't know. I haven't really made up my mind. But what I will say is that Anfisa, if you do go home, girl, you looked beautiful while you was here. And that's all she left with. And so Omarosa really don't like that because y'all know Omarosa is kind of bossy and wants people to kind of follow in line behind her. But Tanisha just really ain't going for it, and she wants to be able to make up her own decision based on what she gonna make her decision on. And so Tanisha is basically giving us Virgo energy, okay, because she's a Virgo, honey. And what you not gonna do, let me tell you, what you not gonna do is convince a Virgo to do nothing they don't want to do. And the more you try to convince them to do something they don't want to do, the less likely it is that they will do said thing that you want them to do. So the best thing you can do with a Virgo, y'all, write this down. The best thing you can do, give them their options, okay? Let them know the pros and cons of both options. Don't rush them. Let them know to take their time. Let you know when they made a decision. And then when they come back to you, then you might be able to negotiate the decision that they made. Probably not. But the worst thing you can do is try to coerce them or bully them into doing something because they low-key are stubborn as hell. People talk about Taurus being stubborn. Have you met a Virgo? Moving on. Later on that night, while the villains are just kind of hanging and chilling out, you know, New York and Anfisa are trying to talk to people to get them to not vote for them and all the good stuff. Corinne and Giant Bananas, I really want to call him Sabretooth. Hammerhead. But anyway, so Corinne and Johnny Bananas are out by the pool. And baby, she is like all over him. Can I put my feet on you? Can you rub my feet? Oh my God, I'm so horny. And he's just laughing. And I'm like, she is clearly way more into him than he is into her.
Corny. I am. Like, I am.
Corinne, girl, you are throwing it at this man and he is swatting it away. Like, I don't know what. He's just swatting. He like mosquitoes at a damn barbecue. He don't want none of it. Babes, he's not that into you. Let it go. And I don't know if she thinks that's part of her game, but Johnny Bananas ain't fooling about that. Johnny Bananas is about his money first, honey later. Okay? Money first, honey later. Okay, Corinne. So the villains get an announcement that they need to go ahead and get ready, go downstairs because they're going to be going bowling. So they're all excited because they feel like it's an opportunity to get out the house, do something fun, kind of have a night off, no challenge, just have a good time. So they get to the bowling alley and Omarosa is still trying to find out what Tanisha got going on, who she's trying to vote for. And Tanisha already kind of side-eyeing Omarosa because Bobby Lights lets Tanisha know before they go bowling that Omarosa had came into his room earlier and was still talking about the vote and who people should vote for and all the other stuff. And Tanisha was like, what'd she say? So Tanisha's over it. And so Omarosa is just like, Tanisha, you know, what you thinking? And Tanisha's like, I ain't thinking nothing.
Thinking. I'm not. The last conversation we had, you gave me nothing. Right. And you know I vote with the house.
And she's just like, I'm taking my time and I'm gonna vote for whoever I feel like makes sense to me. I'm not voting with everybody else. So Tanisha goes to Bobby Lights and is like, tell Omarosa to stay out my business. And Bobby laughs. He's like, let me tell her for real. Tanisha's like, yeah, go tell her. And so when Bobby Lights went to go tell Omarosa starts laughing. She was like, okay. And then so when Tanisha walks up, Omarosa's like, so you want me to stay out your business? And Tanisha's like, yes, girl. Yes, sis. Like, leave me alone.
I will stay out of your business.
Stay out of it.
Now I'm clear.
When it comes to making a decision.
Out of her business. Vote for who you want to vote for.
And so, of course, because New York is not in the center of attention, she tries to make it about her. And it's like, well, Tanisha, if you just want to send me home, then just send me home. And Tanisha's like, girl, I didn't even say that. Like, what are you even talking about? She's like, you are crazy.
Tanisha, if you want to send me home, just say so.
And New York is like, yes, I'm crazy. Yes, I'm like, let me tell y'all something. at this point, I too would be sick of New York shit. I love New York, y'all. I love Tiffany Pollard. But whatever this is that she's doing on the show, it's not working for me. It's getting on my last good nerve. And I would want to send her home too. And all this motherfucking slipping and sliding and dancing in the bowling shoes. Now, while I do a slip and slide in a groove in a bowling shoe, because they slick shoes, you can't help but do that. It would have made me say, okay, it's time for you to go home, girl. Because you're too explosive for no reason. And I feel like you're doing the most for camera time, and now you're just getting on my nerves. So I absolutely would have made my choice in that moment that she would have had to take her ass home. So they get into a little argument in the bowling alley, but it wasn't nothing to write home about, child. So they get home, get prepared, because now it is time for eliminations. And so I did want to point out that in one of the clips they showed, which was an interview with Omarosa, one of her confessionals, and Omarosa said, I don't have a vote, but I do have the ability to influence the vote. And I said, production, are y'all purposefully using old clips? Because this was a clip from last week when Omarosa was villain of the week and she didn't have a vote. She has a vote this week. Like, what? Y'all make too much money. And maybe, I know the writer's strike wasn't even happening when this was filmed. This was probably filmed last year. Y'all make too much money, to be doing this. To miss these editing things. Like, we're not stupid. This was a clip from last week. I don't want to see no more mistakes. Okay, editing, no more mistakes. So Omarosa, before the elimination, she had talked to Anfisa, and Anfisa was saying that she was nervous because she's not really a big talker, and so she's not sure what she's going to say during elimination. And so Omarosa basically gives her a speech to say, and Anfisa says the speech, you know, she's like, even though I'm not a woman of a lot of words, when I do speak, I speak from the heart, and I really want to be here, yada yada yada. It was a cute little speech, you know, it was cute. And so New York, this girl. So New York is talking about how I am the HBIC and I am the queen of reality TV, and I'm not asking for no sympathy vote. I just need y'all to understand the pecking order, and I'm not ready to go home, so y'all don't need to send me home.
Original HBI mother C. And I deserve my spot here in the House of Villains.
Girl. That's what you get. That's what you had to give them. That was your speech to rally the troops. Don't send me home because I'm the head bitch in charge and y'all better know better. Do you see who was on the other side of that? Bobby Lights laughed. Omarosa was like, so basically, you don't want me to vote to save you. Is what you just said. You want me to vote for you. And New York was like, Omarosa, you know, you heard what I had to say, and while I've already said that, let me also say this, and let me make sure I get her words right. You are a sucking, guzzling Republican, and I sleep better at night knowing that you are no longer in the White House.
I also say that I find you to be a sucking, guzzling Republican. Oh.
New York, all of that. So obviously Omarosa was like, oh, okay. Well, that's fine. You can keep saying all that, but you're going to be saying all that at your house tonight. Can I go ahead and vote? So Omarosa voted for New York to go home. Shake voted for Anfisa to go home.
Sorry,
Johnny Fairplay voted for New York to go home. He said he's sick of all the yelling, all the shenanigans. It's time for her to go. Bobby Lights votes for Anfisa to go home because he said New York is his girl. Tanisha, it doesn't really say who goes home, who she voted for yet. She was just kind of torn. And then Corinne was like, this vote is so hard for me. And I said, this bitch done voted for New York. I told y'all I'm on the fence about this Corinne because come to find out, Tanisha voted for New York, which we kind of knew. They got into it at the bowling alley, so I feel like that was obvious. And Corinne voted for New York. Girl, New York was your roommate. New York basically had your back, and you stabbed her in the back. I knew New York couldn't trust her. And she was like, I'm just sick of New York and her attitude, and she's always doing this thing, and she embarrasses me, and I just think it's time for her to go home. New York, I could have told you don't trust that heifer. Hell, Omarosa damn near told you don't trust that heifer. And I mean, it's not like her voting for, if she had voted for Anfisa, that would have changed anything because New York still would have went home. But it's the principle, okay? It's principalities in this.
It's the principle of the whole thing. It's principalities in this.
So New York is hollering and screaming, and Joe McHale asks, is there any last words, New York? And she was like, fuck you, bitches. And Joe was like, okay. And so Johnny Bananas, I forget, he tries to get some little speech, and New York was like, fuck you, Johnny. And so he sends her flying through the wall, and New York has been eliminated. So that was the end of the episode. It wasn't a whole lot to give in this episode, but what I will say is that I'm happy that they actually showed who was eliminated at the end of the episode. Let's keep that going because this whole cliffhanger shit is for the birds. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought of episode 4, Dance with the Devil, House of Villains. Like I said, this episode wasn't given a whole lot. It was pretty boring. I'm kind of low-key, and I hate to say this because, like I said, I do like Tiffany Pollard, honey. I just don't like her on this show. But I'm actually happy that she's gone because now I feel like the people that are in the house are less, like, emotionally driven, except for Bobby Lights, but he's funny.
Thank you all for, like, not you too, but just, like, thank you all for, like, just being idiots. Seriously.
But everybody else is, like, conniving. I feel like now that New York is gone, the games can really begin, and a lot of, like, the backstabbing, the double crossing, the stuff that I'm really here for. I ain't here for no fake drama. I'm here for, like, the duplicity of it all. So hopefully they really get sneaky and villainous in the next couple of episodes. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought of this episode. And as always, y'all, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see y'all next week for episode 5 of House of Villains.
Talk my shit and keep it honest, keep it independent. I hear them hating, but that's only cause they inconsistent. He said the weapon wouldn't prosper, now they would.